Hi, I'm Jake from City Career Series, and this video is about converting internships. So I'm going to talk you through some of the elements and tasks you're facing on an internship and give you some tips to coming across as positively as possible. The first element is the work that you'll be set. So particularly on longer internships, you'll be set various pieces of work on which you'll then be assessed. So first thing you should consider when preparing a piece of work for the firm is attention to detail. Now, I don't just mean this in the sense of correct spelling, grammar and punctuation, but also details such as how do other people present their work at the firm? Does the firm have certain templates or certain structures that it likes to use? And paying attention to details like that shows that you're really paying an interest in how the firm works and that you'll be an effective employee when you join. Next, consider the firm's resources, as these may be able to help you in delivering your work. So the firm might have precedents or templates or standard forms that you can use as a basis for particular types of work that you're set. Doing this shows initiative that is likely to impress a supervisor. Also consider the recipient of the work that you're delivering. If the work is for or eventually intended for a client, maybe you should make it a bit shorter, a bit snappier, maybe avoid using too much jargon. Whereas if it's for a supervisor, you could check with them whether they want a more detailed piece of work showing what your research was from. But again, just taking into account the type of work it is and how they want it delivered, whether that's an email or a longer report, can really show that you're using your initiative and you're an effective candidate. Finally, asking questions is fine, but make sure you never ask the same question twice. Also, if you have a variety of questions that pop up while you're working on a certain piece of work, it might be better to save those questions up, ask your supervisor when they have maybe 5 minutes to go through them all, and approach it that way, rather than constantly interrupting your supervisor every couple of minutes whenever a question arises. The next element to consider is your personal attitude and brand. So firstly, just get involved in as much as you can. There might be five-a-side football or netball every week that you're invited to join as an intern. Networking events, social events. Getting involved in all of these kind of things can show that you have a genuine interest in getting involved, contributing to the firm's culture, meeting as many people as possible, and learning as much as possible. Also talk to everyone, because you never know who's going to be asked for feedback. And again, it shows that you really want to contribute positively to the firm's culture. Whether it's the receptionists as you walk in, the PAs, more senior partners or directors, the grad recruitment team. Just learn as much as you can by being as open as humanly possible. Make sure you're professional, of course, so be punctual, be dressed smart, and do everything else that would be expected of someone else in your position. I think being too informal sometimes can create risk that someone will not be able to trust you to be too professional with clients, but you also don't want to be too rigid. You need to show some of your personality because firms really do value that, because the culture is important. Remember that everything is a learning opportunity, so not all the tasks that you'll do will be incredibly interesting or complicated, but try to see the learning opportunity in everything. So if you're doing a very repetitive task, maybe ask questions around the context of that task or how it fits into a particular transaction. That way you're showing an interest in learning more about what the firm does, an interest in kind of developing yourself personally, but also showing that you're willing to chip in and will keep a positive attitude, even if the work isn't of the level of interest that you would ideally prefer. Ask well thought out and intelligent questions. So I've heard a lot of feedback, and it's been very positive when people have asked questions that show an intellectual curiosity or a real desire to get to know the firm, its industry, its clients to a greater degree. So this can reflect really well. And finally, enthusiasm is so important. I've heard from a lot of people that have not converted an internship simply because they didn't come across as enthusiastic as other candidates. Enthusiasm shows firstly that you're going to enjoy yourself and you would enjoy a career at that firm, which also suggests you're more likely to work harder, be a more positive influence on a team, but it also shows that if the firm was to offer you the job, there's a greater likelihood that you would actually accept. Group work and team presentations. Many firms, as part of their internship process, will assess you on a particular group presentation or team-based report or maybe some kind of negotiation exercise. So here are some tips to help you approach those in a way that makes sure that you come across as positively as possible. So firstly, don't come across as overbearing. Really try to include and encourage others. Show, if you can, that you really are listening. So you could draw different people's ideas together, maybe contribute or build on a couple of those ideas, but the idea is really to show that you are a team player and you can come across well with other people. It's not an opportunity for you to show that you can really take charge, and even if you think your ideas are better than everybody else's, constantly talking over other people will not make you come across in the most positive light. You will likely be asked questions as a team afterwards, and remember that you don't know whether you will only be asked questions on your bit. So if you do prepare the presentation or report or whatever together as a team, this should mean that you are able to answer any questions on the given topic, regardless of who is allocated actual speaking spot relating to a particular part of that topic. That can really help to show good teamwork. Finally, depending on the circumstances, it might be appropriate or could make you stand out if you provide some kind of handout together. Again, if you provide a coherent handout that covers the whole topic, it shows that you as a team have come together and managed to produce something that really shows you worked well as that team. So some final thoughts and tips. Remember, the city is a tight-knit community. A lot of people know each other, so never say anything about a firm that you wouldn't want that firm to hear. Treat all of your fellow interns and potential future colleagues with respect, because it's likely you'll either be working with them in the future at the same firm, or they could be working at a different firm on the other side of a deal. So if you can create some really positive relationships with these people at the earliest possible stages, it's likely to benefit you in the long run.